I always dreamed of marrying a rich man, a fairy tale life, luxury, romance, power, and when I met him, I thought I had finally found my happy ending. He was everything I had ever wanted. Powerful and dangerously charming, a self-made Arab millionaire living in a world of silk, gold, and secrets. Our wedding was straight out of a movie, a royal affair in Dubai, and diamonds, chandeliers, cameras flashing. But looking back now, I should have noticed the warning signs, the whispers, the glances, the things I wasn't supposed to see, because the man I married, wasn't just a millionaire. He was hiding something so dark, so powerful, that by the time I realized it, it was too late. Let me take you back to the night everything changed. At first, our life was perfect. He spoiled me with gifts, Chanel, Cartier, private jets to Paris just for breakfast. Every night we dined in the tallest skyscrapers overlooking the world like we owned it, and in a way he did, but something always felt off. There were rules. Rules no normal husband would have. Rule number 1, never ask about his business. Rule number 2, never enter his private study. Rule number 3, if he ever tells me to leave town for a few days, I must leave. No questions asked. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe he was just a private man. Maybe some things in a billionaire's life had to remain a secret. Until one night, when he disappeared, it was 3 a.m. I woke up and he was gone. No call, no text, just silence. I tried to sleep, but something in my gut told me to check outside, and that's when I saw it, his black Rolls-Royce driving off into the desert. I knew I shouldn't follow. I knew I should just go back to bed, but curiosity is a dangerous thing, and I couldn't stop myself. I grabbed my jacket, slipped on my shoes, and quietly crept out of the house. I followed him, keeping my distance. The desert road stretched endlessly, and the further we went, the more uneasy I felt. My heart was pounding in my chest as I saw him pull up to a large, isolated building. It looked like some kind of compound. I parked my car a few miles away and walked closer, hiding behind the dunes. I could hear voices, muffled but clear. They were speaking in Arabic. I peeked around the corner and saw him standing with a group of men. They were handing over what looked like suitcases full of cash. I froze. What was going on? My husband, the man I trusted, the man I married, was standing there dealing with who knows what. The way they looked at him, respect, fear, it wasn't just business. It was something else. That was the moment I knew something was seriously wrong. But I didn't know how deep it went. I had no idea that this was just the beginning of the secrets that would unravel my life. Over the next few days, I tried to act normal, but the unease in my gut kept growing. I started noticing things, like how he always had a new story when I asked where he'd been, or how he always turned off his phone whenever we were together. His private study was always locked, and when I asked for the key, he brushed it off, telling me it was for his work. But it wasn't just work. It couldn't have been. One evening, he had to leave town for business again. This time, I didn't go along with his request. I stayed behind and decided to investigate. I waited until he was gone. Then I did what I promised myself I wouldn't do. I took the key to his study and opened the door. The room was dimly lit, and everything inside was organized perfectly. But the moment I stepped inside, I noticed something strange. There were documents scattered across his desk. Not business documents. These were official-looking files, passports, birth certificates, records that didn't match up. I flipped through them quickly, and then I saw it. There was a name on one of the documents that I didn't recognize, a name that I soon realized belonged to someone who didn't even exist anymore. It was like I had opened a door to a different world, a world I wasn't supposed to see. And what was worse, I realized my husband had been living in it all along. I was shaking. What did this mean? What kind of man had I married, and why did he keep these secrets from me? I couldn't stop myself. I had to know more. So I did what I had to do. I followed his footsteps again. This time, I managed to get my hands on his phone, and as I scrolled through the messages, I saw something I never expected to see. A hidden text conversation between him and a man named Qasim. The conversation was encrypted, but the one thing that stood out was a phrase repeated over and over. The deal goes through tomorrow. He's going to make his move. Who was he talking about and what was going to happen tomorrow? I couldn't wait any longer. I had to confront him. When he came home the next night, I didn't wait. I stood in front of him and demanded answers. At first, he just stared at me like he couldn't believe I had found out. Then he took a deep breath and said, "I didn't want you to get involved in this world, but now you know." And that's when he told me the truth. My husband wasn't just a millionaire businessman. He was involved in something far darker, something much more dangerous. He was part of a secret underground empire tied to illegal dealings, power struggles, and men who controlled entire regions. The wealth he flaunted wasn't just built on hard work, it was built on blood. I was stunned. He tried to explain, tried to make me understand that he had no choice, but I didn't know what to believe anymore. All the life we built, all the things I thought I knew about him, suddenly seemed like a lie, and I didn't know the man standing in front of me anymore, but it wasn't just his secret life that terrified me. What scared me even more was the threat of what might happen if I walked away from it. He told me, "If you leave now, you're not just walking away from me, you're walking away from everything. And if you stay, you're not just my wife, you're part of the empire, this life. It'll swallow you whole." That's when I realized I had a choice to make. Stay and live in his world surrounded by wealth, power, and danger, or walk away and risk losing everything I'd come to love. And as I packed my things to leave, I thought about all the nights we spent in his mansion, the luxury, the excitement, the thrill. Could I really walk away from all of that? Or was I too far gone, too wrapped up in his world to leave? I stood at the door, bags packed, ready to walk out and never look back. But just as I turned the handle, I heard his voice behind me. "You really think you can just walk away from me, from us, from this life?" He was standing in the doorway, his eyes filled with something I couldn't quite read, and then he said, "Stay. I'll show you a world you've never imagined, a world where you can have everything." I didn't know if I should stay, I didn't know if I could trust him, but deep down, I knew one thing: my life had changed forever. Now, I have to make a choice. Will I stay with him and dive deeper into this dangerous world, or will I walk away, leaving everything behind, even if it means risking my life? What would you do? Stay or run? Let me know in the comments below.